The broadcast is live. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan McCormick. He's Demitrius Siruno from Utah. How we doing, Demetrius?
I'm freezing my butt off in Utah, but
I saw you in the gym. I saw you in the gym this morning. You were sweating it out, ready to roll.
I was sweating it out, trying to keep up with my wife.
Exactly. Well, everybody, we want to welcome you to the Greatest Salesman podcast. My name is Dan McCormick. You can follow us each and every Wednesday at 2 p.m. for Wisdom Wednesday. Every week, I get to select the greatest salespeople in the world. This week, it is none other than Demetrius. We're going to have a great time. If you're new to us, feel free to comment as you come into the broadcast. We love your comments. We love your questions, your feedback. You can put that on the screen and we'll get it up there. And we will have a great show today. Please feel free to share the show to your Facebook page. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. We also are on the Greatest. Go to that webpage and listen to previous or past events that we've had and rate the show, comment on the show, and please share it. The podcast is getting great reviews. So we love having everybody. It's, of course, great to have Blanca in the house. Every single week she's here giving us her feedback, her comments. Heather, how about that? She knows you, I think, Demetrius. It is going to be great. Pam from Boston is here. So, Demetrius, what I love to do before we get into how we met and a little bit more personal stuff about your journey, being the greatest salesperson, I love to kick off every show with talking about maybe 3 things that you find shape your life or each and every day of your life.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to be here. Dan, I'm a huge fan of you and your work, and you've helped shape my life and been an influence in my life for many years, long before we connected. So this is just an honor to be here with you. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to be here. 3 things that have helped shape my life. Number 1 is prayer. For me, that's been a huge thing to influence and shape my life. Now, people say all the time, maybe they don't believe in God. Maybe they don't believe in God, but they believe in energy in the universe, right? And so prayer for me is simply, it ties into the law of attraction, to where every single day, I heard once early on in my career that where attention goes, energy flows. So if we all believe in energy, we all come from energy, right? Your attention, if you're praying every day, a couple times a day, right, that you're giving that energy, that attention to the energy of whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whatever it is. I believe it's the same thing for whatever your belief is, because where your attention goes, right, that energy does flow to that. So for me, being able to pray every day, it just comforts me to pray that there's a higher power out there, that there's an energy, that there's the universe. If I put my energy up to that, I believe that it strengthens you and gets you closer to your goals and helps comfort and guide. And whatever your beliefs are on that, that's for me. One thing that every single day, I definitely do throughout the day, constantly. So I'm always putting that energy to where it should go, whether it's God, whether it's the universe, whatever. Like I said, you first and foremost, that's for me. Prayer is huge. I've relied on it heavily. I believe that we can be influenced by a power greater than us, that we are being watched over by something greater than us. And so for me, that's been huge. But also kind of the second thing that goes with prayer for me is faith. Faith is, believing in something, being able to not see it, whether it is God, whether it is the universe or energy or whatever. We don't necessarily see it with our eyes, but we can kind of feel it. So for me, having faith means that when everything that you do, your energy, your actions are going to be different. If you have faith that if you do those things, it's going to help you get to the goal that you accomplish or you want to accomplish. It's going to help carry you through the dark times. It's going to help carry you through, the difficult days. And I've had many difficult days and dark times and challenges in my life. But, by praying for that help and guidance, by having the faith that my actions are going to get me closer to where I want to go. And then just the third thing is really taking action. I learned early on in my career, early on as a young man, that the learning is in the doing. And if you want to learn something, you want to accomplish something, you just do it. Even if you're bad at first, which you will be, even if you're not good at something at first, which you're not going to be good at something you're just getting started with, but being able to say, it's okay, I'm just going to take action and I'm going to get through that learning curve and I'm going to do it. So, prayer, faith, and action. Maybe it's my upbringing in my church, and I heard that early on in like church class. Those are like the main staples, and I've just ran with it my whole life, and it served me well.
I love that she put that up on the screen. The learning is in the doing. And I'm so fascinated by this, and I'm fascinated by how many people are already jumping in and commenting. And I see all their comments in the comment column here coming through. But I'm fascinated by the fact that you're in the chair today. You are the greatest salesman in the world. And of course, everybody knows that my last 38 years, this has kind of like been my morning ritual. I think about these scrolls. I get up and they spring into my mind. And you, in the last year, before you tell me the answer to this question of you've sold millions, your team has sold millions and millions of dollars of products in your particular company in the last year. But just prior to that, life wasn't so rosy. As a matter of fact, I think the back seat may have smelled a little odd. Do you want to share that story?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I love the book. I love The Greatest Salesman. I love sales. And I heard early on when I was in college that sales is the highest paid profession in the world. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing that. So I wanted to be a part of sales. Been an entrepreneur for 17 years, got into sales. Early on in my career, I also learned in sales that sales is a transfer of energy, right? It's a transfer of energy. However, okay, if your energy is low, if your energy isn't in alignment with what you're selling anymore, and you try to transfer that, what energy are you transferring? You're transferring crappy energy. You're transferring disbelief. You're transferring doubt. You're not transferring what you should be in order to be successful in sales. So a couple years ago, I lost my passion for what I was doing. And I also heard something early on that had resonated with me, that somebody said, find something you're passionate about and learn and try to find ways to turn your passion into profits. And that stuck with me. It hit me so hard. I'm like, okay, cool. Turn my passion into profits. So when I no longer was passionate about what I was promoting before, the results went down, my energy went down, my happiness went down. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to try to fake it, right? Because in sales, you can't fake it. You can smell a phony a mile away. And if the passion and the fire is not there, then that transfer of energy is going to be felt and you're not going to be effective. So a couple of years ago, I walked away from another company that I had built. We made millions there, but it wasn't resonating with me. So I didn't feel good every day waking up trying to promote what I was promoting. So a little over 2 years ago, walked away from that company and I was an entrepreneur, real estate investor before, this other career that I had. And I went back and wanted to start another company. So I started a company. I was reminded of the challenges of a traditional business. Man, traditional businesses are so hard. And I learned that, right? And after you have success in the industry, my profession now, and you try to go back into doing something where you're only making money for yourself, once again, I found myself not resonating in my passion, right? So I was like reminded of the fact that find something you're passionate about and turn that into profits and try to make it profitable. But I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being true to my passion. And I found myself struggling financially. I wasn't able to fully excel. So many lessons I've learned from The Greatest Salesman. Like you got to just find this rhythm, this vibration that you're in where you got to vibe with it. And I just wasn't vibing with what I was doing. And because I wasn't fully fulfilling my calling, or my energy I was putting out there wasn't at the high level it could be. So I found myself struggling in that business. And I actually was living in Arizona and living in Vegas, commuting back and forth to my family, which is another topic of just not being here with my family here in Utah. We were contemplating moving to Arizona to launch my business and then to Vegas, but my family didn't want to do that. So that was also, it was hurting me because I wasn't able to give all my passion and go all in. And last year I found myself driving Uber at nights. And, here I am, made millions and as a professional. But I wasn't fulfilling my calling like I knew I could, or like I knew I should. So I was just doing what I had to do to get by. Driving Uber, first week on the job, I picked somebody up, a couple, and the husband, they're so drunk from dinner, throws up in my car. This was like just last year, like almost to the day, to the week. And I was sitting there and I'm like, man, why? What's going on? Like, why am I in this situation? And it was just a hard place for me to be in, because I knew that I wasn't fulfilling what I felt was my passion. And I was just trying to turn what I was doing, trying to get passionate, trying to believe into what I was doing, but it wasn't, the belief wasn't there from the beginning. So it was just a struggle for me. I mean, yeah, we've definitely gone through tough times. You read about Og Mandino, you read about all the struggles that he had in his life. Exactly. I look back now and I appreciate it. You learn from all these struggles. It really sucks going through, and you hate going through it. But you always try to remember that there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel soon, and you get through it. But yeah, last year was rough. Driving Uber, just not fulfilled, not making a difference, not paying the bills. That was tough also.
Yeah. Well, that's a great story, because I love how Napoleon Hill kind of sets the framework of what you just said, that when money starts to come, it comes so fast and so furious. We kind of ask the question, where has it been during all of these lean years? And what you did was you gave us a fantastic opportunity to see how our lives are in harmony with the principles that we want. And I love you turn your passion into profits. You're dropping some bombs for our audience here today that are just fantastic. I'm seeing people comment. They know the book. If you haven't read the book, by the way, The Greatest Salesman in the World, you can go there. Matter of fact, we'll probably put a link on the screen for you. Just go buy it today and begin the journey. And, you said Og had troubles. Oh my, I mean, here's an alcoholic. Here's a man with a wife that didn't want to see him, a daughter that didn't want to see him. And lo and behold, he turns to that library door that was open. And the library door for all of us is always open. It was a literal library for him. And so today, if you're new with us, on behalf of the Og Mandino Company, we're going to give you a free assessment. It's ogmandino.com, or excuse me, it's habitfinder.com. We'll put that up on the screen for you. habitfinder.com/podcast. That's a couple $100 value to see how your thoughts are in alignment with the principles, the habits, and the reference points that Og is leaving us. And so it is just an honor each and every week to find the greatest salespeople in the world. And you just did such a great job of sharing with us how you brought everything into alignment. One of the things that Og wrote at the beginning of the book, and I'm going to ask you now to go here before we get into some more specifics to your journey. Og says, Hafid, I'm using the character Hafid now at the beginning of the book, that I've always counted on your friendship as being one of my greatest assets. Now, when Og said that, your life changed because of a relationship with one of our previous guests on the show, one of the greatest salespeople in the world, and that's Lance Conrad. And so you guys stayed in touch as friends and waiting for that perfect, harmonious moment to say, hey, we can bless each other's lives here.
That's so funny. Yeah, like I remember the first time I met with Lance, I was trying to recruit him. He was trying to recruit me. We were playing that game, and we came to the conclusion, let's just agree to disagree and we'll just be friends, right? And he said something. He says, listen, I'm somebody that you definitely want to keep in touch with. I'm somebody you want in your network. And I'm like, and he said it with such conviction, and go back to the passion. I was like, yeah, okay, we're going to be good friends. And over the past 11 years, I can't even count how many secret meetings we've had, looking at opportunities, trying to continue trying to recruit each other. But it was last year, November, that I made the decision that I was going to walk away from what I was doing in Las Vegas. The commuting took its toll on my family, on my kids, and we had a really hard time dealing with that. And, our income was going down, our bills were going up, and it just went back to, me praying about it, having the faith that something was going to happen. Something had to give. As entrepreneurs, we don't break, we bend, and we adjust to it. And it was actually the first, like middle of November last year. And I heard once as a kid, and when life gets too hard to stand, you kneel and you just ask for guidance. And I did that morning. And I had a distinct impression to reach out to my good friend Lance. And he called me back. I sent him a text message. He called me within 2 seconds, called me back. I'm like, oh, that's quick. What's up, dude? What are you doing? I'm like, I was just thinking about you. And I was like, crazy, man. I was just thinking about you, because it was such a clear impression to reach out to him that morning. And I trusted him. And what a blessing it is to be able to have good friends that you can count on, and they're doing some big things, and they're always going to have your back and your best interest in mind. And I did that, and that's how we got into the opportunity that we have now. It's really cool to be able to look back on that and look at that moment and say, wow, how special that is. I believe we all are a part of a greater plan, a greater work here. And I believe the higher powers that be, they use other people a lot of times in life to answer prayers, or whatever your energy you're putting out to the universe, whether if it's despair, if it's hope, if it's whatever it is, you're going to get that answer, and it's going to come through the form of sometimes a person that we know, and that was that answer for me, my good friend Lance, and I'm grateful for that, because it's completely changed the course of my life and so many lives today with that opportunity.
Well, congratulations to you. One of the things that I enjoy observing as the ambassador to the Augmandino Company each and every Wednesday is when I ask that question at the top of the show, the episode, to be able to get the feedback of the entrepreneur, the greatest salesperson in the world, and then to see throughout the show how they continually reference those three things, to see the alignment that your life really has, to see the genuine, authentic Demetrius. It looks like some of your team likes to call you D. Okay. And so D is in the house dropping bombs, you guys. He's really doing an unbelievable job, because he's aligned with his mission. And what I want to do is just share your one line with what you're saying that Og wrote in the book, because scroll number 10 is the Salesman's Prayer. And when he says that I will pray for guidance, essentially you found yourself at that moment in time. And isn't it amazing for all of our listeners today, and whether you're listening today, 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years from now, and you listen to Demetrius and you listen to this show and you want to reach out to him, you can find him on Facebook, you can find him on YouTube, you can find him. He's out there on social, okay? But I love how Og says, I will pray for guidance. And then he goes on and says, and I will pray as a salesman in this manner. Like you said, the highest reward profession in the world. Take a lot of other industries out of the world, whether it's accountants and lawyers and whatnot. You might have some disharmony. You take the salesman out of the world and everything stops, right? And so you prayed for guidance. You made that connection. And so I wonder, when I asked you the question to share with me the three things, I asked you to give that some thought here in the last couple of days, but is it something that kind of resonates with you every day? I mean, you just wake up and just know that, prayer is kind of like the first thing for you. I mean, Daniel, in the book of Daniel said he prayed 3 times a day. I think you brought that up.
Yeah. I mean, it's really my understanding of the power of habit and how habits can control your life, good or bad. And we're doing something every single day. We do something every single day that shapes our future. But on the flip side, something to think about too, it's also what we're not doing every day that also defines our future. So you get to choose. Your future is being defined either way. So for me, understanding that early on, creating that habit, developing that habit of doing that every single day, and just listening, it's helped guide me a lot in my life, and I know it can guide a lot of people as well. And it's really cool and comforting for me. It was just such a comfort as a young kid learning that. Reading in the Bible, right? Knock and ye shall receive, ask and it shall be opened unto you. And just the comfort of a young boy knowing that there's something up there. It hit me so hard. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. And during the dark times, during the good times, it's helped me just shape my life as I've listened and looked. And was seeking that guidance. So I'm grateful for that for sure. But yeah, it was just creating the habit every single day.
I love it, because that's Og basically says, let's see, I'll give you 75-1 odds that you'll finish the scrolls, that you'll do it 3 times a day for 9 months. I'll give you 75-1 odds. He says that at the beginning of the Greatest Secret in the World. And you've been able to find a rhythm. And Og is basically trying to challenge people to find that rhythm to life. Whether it's Daniel praying 3 times a day, or it's Demetrius and Ashley praying 3 times a day, individually or as a family, there's a real rhythm to your life. You can feel it. But, it's interesting. Sometimes when you have a rhythm to your life, the systems aren't always there to support the dreams. But you and your team have created a system for success. How do you lean on the system to add leverage to your life?
No, that's a great point. And I think too many times, when you're working with people, I think too many people, they get it. They have a system, right? But they don't fully sell out to the system. So what they do is they start managing people. And managing people becomes very, very hard if there is no system. So if you focus on a system instead of managing people, now all you have to do is manage a system, right? A system is so easy. The system does all the heavy lifting for you. The system is the blueprint. And all you have to do is just focus on the system, manage the system, fine tune the system, live the system, sell out to the system, and everything refers back to the system. Because the system doesn't change, right? The system is not emotional. People, however, are very emotional. And I believe the number one killer in a salesman's career is emotion. So like in the book, it talks about, you have to learn to master your emotions and not let your emotions master you. It's easier said than done. But when you start to recognize that and you take emotion out of it, you see, a system is not based on emotion, right? A system is based on just actions people take. You refer back to the system. So all we do is we found a system that works. We manage the system. We don't worry about managing people because it's impossible to manage people, because people are so different and people change every day. Someone's happy one day and the next day they're not happy, or they're emotional, they're sad, whatever. We found a system that is simple. We found a system that anybody can do. And we wanted to keep it super simple and fun. And in today's world, Dan, we're at the height of the gig economy. We're now more than ever. People need $500, $1,000 a month. People need something simple. They need it now, right? And so we found that, and we wanted to just develop that and create something for the masses that they can do. They plug into it. They do it. They don't need to think about it. When people need to think about something, they talk themselves out of doing it. It becomes overcomplicated. They get, paralysis from analysis, and they can't move because they got to start thinking about things. But we just wanted to create something so simple that anybody can do and people can see quick results with.
Well, if you're joining us late, he's the greatest salesman in the world today, Demitrius Siruno, and I'm Dan McCormick, the ambassador to the Og Mandino Company. And I cannot tell you how thrilled I am that you made time in your day to say the things that you just said, dropping just massive wisdom bombs for everybody. Because Stephen Covey actually is one of my wife actually had Stephen Covey as a professor in college. And he actually teaches what you just said by saying that you lead people, you manage things. And you just gave us a brilliant description of that systematic approach to leveraging your life so that you've got thousands and tens of thousands of people that utilize your system. Would you say every day that thousands of people are using your system?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to give you an example. We started a Facebook group, a customer testimonial experience group. And that group was me and my wife, Ashley, and Ricky V and his wife, Jessica. And we saw what we wanted to create. And we started this group. And there was 4 of us in the group, and we wanted to just make it about experiences. We wanted to make it fun. We wanted to make it duplicatable. And so our very first post in there was my wife, and she posted a testimonial, and that testimonial got 4 likes. It was me, Ricky, her, and
that's great.
And now, because of the simplicity of the system, that group has grown to over 330,000 members, worldwide in just 10 months. And, I look at that, I'm like, wow, the simplicity, right? Success, speed, it's all synonymous with simplicity. Yes. And if you can streamline and keep it simple, you've got a great recipe to win. So that's what we've seen. That's just one example of, the simplicity of a system and keeping it simple and fun.
Now, I didn't know you were going to bring up the scroll that says, I will be the master of this is my cardstock version just for you. I got it right here on my desk. I didn't know you were going to bring it up, but I kind of thought, okay, Uber driver, people throwing up in the back seat of your car, that somewhere along the line, you had to really own that I will be the master of my emotions. And Og says the tides advance, right? Because our listeners today, we don't know where they're at. We know that they're inspired by being here. They're inspired by you and your leadership. The tides advance, the tides recede. Winter comes, goes, summer comes, summer winds, the cold increases. But he talks about in this scroll, I challenge everyone to go study that today because of what you gave us, to be the master of our emotions, and then let the system do what systems do. Onboard people, right? And they take the heavy lifting off of you. And so basically what Og does is gives us a philosophical approach and a system for living personal development. It's a brilliant thing. I'm looking at the comments that are just filling up the boxes here, man. You have so many fans. It is so great that you'd make the time to be here today. I hope a lot of people will actually take the book back out again and go to habitfinder.com/podcast. See if you can align those thoughts up. Let the Og Mandino Company help you for free. It's generally a cost for $100, $200, I think, but we'll let you do it for free here today. So I wonder, in your personal journey, what would be a book that you're currently reading? What is something that's on your mind right now in terms of your own personal growth?
Just the book. I'll put this out right here. This is good. You've seen this one, right? I've been reading this every day. It's just on my mind, The Millionaire Training from Mr. Larry Thompson. We've got a lot of mutual friends and similar mentors, and he's helped me a ton. Just the stories of success, the stories of people finding their alignment. And you look at people who are successful, you look at people that are the most successful. And I really believe it comes down to they found a way to turn their passions into the profits that they are now having. I heard somebody once say, when you love what you do, you really never have to work another day in your life. And I feel like the year and a half prior to what I'm doing now, man, it was work. It was just so every single day I had to just get myself in a mindset to be able to go to work and do. Instead of now, every single day I wake up happy, I wake up excited, I wake up full of passion, I wake up with a desire to serve and to help. And when you have that kind of alignment in your life, now all of a sudden the obstacles that seemed so big before, insurmountable before, aren't so bad, right? They don't look as big because you're just in such alignment that there are no obstacles. There's only opportunities to get better and to grow. And you fall in love with the growth. You fall in love with the journey. And I'll tell you, every single day I wake up and it's such a blessing to know that I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm making a difference. Money's no longer an issue, but we have an opportunity to serve. We have an opportunity to help. And that's my passion. And maybe that's not your passion, but I challenge anybody who watches this, really evaluate what your passion is and look for ways that you can turn that passion into profits. Because if you're not in alignment, whatever you do, it's going to be a struggle and you're not going to be fulfilled. And I heard, maybe it was Tony Robbins say, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And some people are successful. Some people think successful, but they're not fulfilled. And now we have the success, but we have the fulfillment with it. And what a blessing that is. And it can happen to anybody, but it's just a matter of being persistent until you succeed and showing up and giving yourself that opportunity to fail. And it's okay to fail. You're going to fail. It's all right. But when you find it, you go all in on it. That's another key thing, is when you find it, you go all in on it. Don't mess around with it anymore. Life is so short. It's going by like this. I can't believe where, I already got a kid that's about to graduate from high school.
Wow.
I mean, that blows my mind.
That's great. Okay, you just pulled out another scroll. Just listen. If our listeners just hear what Demetrius is saying, he just said, "I will persist until I succeed." I mean, you got the scrolls wired, man. It's just great to listen to you. How they're just part of your language, and I love how you shared with us how to be a better friend. You want to be a better friend. Prove the concept of friendship by being a better friend. You want to prove love. You want to prove prayer. Pray. You kind of gave us just a 30-minute master presentation on your journey of being the greatest salesperson in the world. And I just can't thank you enough. I know your time is, and your team here is just dying to talk to you. I'm sure you're just getting so many comments. But I just want to thank you. And in closing, look forward to sharing the journey with you longer and having you reach out and hopefully have more people share the journey with Og and the Greatest Salesman. And hopefully people will go take that assessment. And we're here every Wednesday at 2:00. I wonder in closing, if you would just maybe, what would you say to some of the people that are maybe watching today that they see you on stage, they see you're the greatest salesman. They're not where they want to be just yet. What would you say to them in closing today?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not where I want to be just yet. I don't think there's ever a point. I mean, and that's where I'm at in my life now, is like, I realized I used to say that, how could I be there? And now I'm here. And I'm like, that's not even, there's so much more to go. There's so many more lives to change. There's so many more challenges to overcome. And that's part of the journey. And we all have an opportunity to grow in this life. If you're not growing, then you're dying. If you're not focusing on becoming better, everything is changing around us. So you have to be willing to just keep on growing. If you're fulfilled right now, you need to change your perspective, because there's so much more you can do. So there really never is a there where we get there. It's just a journey. And if you can't enjoy the journey where you're at, I'll tell you, when you get to where you think you want to go and you think you're going to be this satisfaction that you're going to have, like, it's not going to be there, right? Because there's never an end to it. The key is just be content with where you're at. Be happy with where you're at. Enjoy it, whether it's good or bad. Because without pleasure, we don't understand pain, but also without the pain, we don't fully appreciate the pleasure. So in the down times, look for ways to just learn from it. Understand it's temporary. This too shall pass. It's gonna end very, very soon. And try to look for lessons that you can learn while you're there. And, look for more ways to serve. And that's one thing that's helped me get out of, like, maybe you're talking about a funk. They're in a funk, right? Or whatever. One thing that's helped me every single time to get out of funk is look for ways to serve other people. Because when you start focusing on helping other people, making a difference in someone else's life, whether it's a family member, whoever, all of a sudden you forget about your own little trials or problems or issues. But every opportunity we have, everything we go through in life is a lesson. Someone once said there are no good experiences or bad experiences. There's only learning experiences. Right. As long as you're learning from those experiences, you're going to be just fine. And I'm telling you, you're going to be just fine. Yes. Life is going to be what it is. There's ebbs and flows. There's ups and downs. There's challenges. There's victories. Just enjoy where you're at. Learn from it. Have fun. Go out, serve people, make a difference. The last thing I'll say is just the alignment that I've experienced right now. I've tried to fight that, and I've tried to do things. I've tried to chase the dollar. And if you just chase the dollar and you try to turn that into your passion, it's going to be very difficult, and you're going to have challenges, because there's lots of ways that I could make money. I was making a lot of money with what I was doing in solar. I just wasn't passionate about it. And I would wake up and I didn't feel good about that. So now maybe you have to ask yourself, for those asking that same question, maybe you're not in your passion. Maybe you're not in your passion, and maybe you're just trying to turn it into your passion. Right. And so that's what I would say is just, look for more of your passion and what you can get excited about, and go all in doing whatever it is that is, if you can make money with it.
Well, we've been well fed. It's just been rich. You quoted Wally Waddles. I don't even know if you knew you quoted Wally Waddles in the 1907 incredible classic, Financial Success, Science of Getting Rich, that you can never go beyond where you currently are until you're currently grateful for what you currently have. Brilliant. Thank you. I am just so filled, so fired up. I hope everybody will feel the same way about sharing the podcast. You can go to thegreatestsalesman.com. You can go to podcast sites. You can download it. And we're here every Wednesday at 2:00. And it's going to be a thrill to have your partner with us here next week. It's going to be a real.
He's a rock star.
Yeah.
You guys, he's so amazing. Dan, thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here with you and to share time with you. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate everything you stand for, everything that you've done. I mean, you've sacrificed a lot of your time to be able to inspire and to help people and to make a difference. And I want you to know you've made a big difference in my life. You've been an inspiration for me. And, you think about the lives that we've touched because of you, the influence that you have, the influence that people have on here is far greater than what they understand and what they can see now. So, continue serving, my friend. Thank you. You are making a big difference, and let's go change some lives. Let's go have some fun.
Awesome. Have the greatest day of your life, everybody. Bye for now.